Well, but it lets us know. It just says
Yeah.
recording in progress. So
Little
like
robot
you
voice
didn't
comes
sneak up
on
on
and
us
lets
that
us know.
time.
Yep.
Damn it. I
Yeah.
want. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll have to keep that personal information to myself.
Yeah.
Drinking some Reed's ginger beer. It's very tasty.
Some
Nice.
BNF kombucha. It's like
Is
the
that
Eucharist.
I'm
It
I'm
will
being
I
a
drink
same old
kombucha all
push
the
shit.
you into
time. It's
heaven
great.
in your mouth.
Nice.
And
I'm not a huge fan of vinegar, but flavor it up with some berries and shit, and I'll drink it. Yeah.
Oh
yep.
boy. You have no idea what you're saying right now. Because our shit doesn't taste like fucking vinegar.
Well, then give me some of that BNF.
Why do you
Send
think
me
we're
a.
so much better than everybody else, dude? Like, no, this shit is the easiest shit to sell in the world. Like 80% of the people who try it are like, wow, that's good.
Oh shit. All right, get
So
us a
I just need it.
sponsorship. Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm already sponsoring us by me, the most
Ah!
important part
Nice.
of us, which is me.
Which
Sponsored by
is
us,
you.
which is me.
Yep, I put the time in, I put the energy in, and I have delivered it to all of our most important staff members.
Nice.
Sorry.
He said
I'll get you
member.
guys some later.
He said staff. He said members and staff in the same sentence. I thought that was pretty
Mhm.
funny, personally.
Yeah, both mean dick.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
they do.
I was
Yeah.
thinking like staph infection. I don't know why I
Speaking
went
of
there,
dick,
but
how have you guys been?
No,
hmm,
medium.
good. Oh yeah, yeah.
Half
How is
chub, half
yeah?
chub. Okay.
He's half chubbing. How is okay? Let's start with the heavy. How is the hurricane aftermath in North Carolina? Aren't you in Asheville? I can edit this out. Aren't you in Asheville though?
No, no.
Oh,
I
okay.
live
Is
on the
that?
coast.
Oh,
We
nice.
are
Okay.
we are unaffected by it. We just are hearing a lot of stories coming out of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot bigger of a deal than maybe it's getting credit for in like the major media, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
I don't really watch major media, so I'm not quite sure. But there's several like towns that are pretty much wiped off the map now that will probably never get rebuilt. Um, Cities like Asheville and stuff are probably going to take 2 or 3 years to get back to somewhere near normal.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of real real damage is going to take a long time to fix because they got to build new roads. They're going to have to regrade everything. They're going to have to clean everything up. They still
Damn.
haven't even found everybody. There's still bodies that need to be uncovered. It's like a real shit show out here for sure. And
Damn.
there's a lot of political weird shit going on too, but I don't know all of that, you know. I just know what I've heard.
Oh yeah. Don't get me started. I've heard some fucking conspiracy theories on that. Is it true
Yeah.
that there is a lithium mine somewhere around there?
Uh there's supposed to be
Or
like it's like the
that's it.
third biggest lithium deposit in the US, I think.
Yep.
So it's not like crazy. It's not actually as big of a deal. There is a mine that I guess has really good quartz, and they use the quartz for like the bed of making the silicon wafers or something like that. And
Yep.
it has some of the cleanest quartz or whatever. It's one of the key parts to the supply chain for computers. So
Yep.
um,
Yep.
that got hit, and I think that that will probably be really prioritized by the government, is my guess. And then
It already is.
yeah, I'm guessing in some of the areas with lithium, those might be the towns that they just happen to decide not to rebuild, or like I think there's going to be weird shit like that that happens for sure.
I know
Um,
I know what you're saying, and
but I don't
that.
know.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Well, I'm, you know, hopes and prayers to the people there. Let's be super
Oh,
superficial about it. I know.
there's going to be another big hurricane probably hitting the west coast of Florida pretty soon.
Yep.
It's actually aimed directly for Tampa Bay right now, and it's supposed to hit at a 4, according
Damn.
to the a high for. They're expecting like 145-mile-per-hour sustained wind
Yeah.
when it hits the east or the west coast of Florida, and that should be this week, sometime around Thursday. And a lot of those
Fuck.
areas have just got hit by Helene, like marginally, and they're still getting rained on. So there's been no real the ground saturated, and that becomes a real problem in like lowlands when you get more rain, especially like a huge amount of more rain in. And
Oh yeah.
supposedly FEMA is out of money. And I think Mayorkas said that if I recall correctly, because of whatever they were spending it on, who knows what that actually is, but I guess that we don't have the money for any more hurricanes, and a big one's about to come in.
Yeah. I
So
love I love
Yeah.
how
we'll
you
see.
I love how you couch that and like who knows what they're spending it on. Like I fucking know what they're
Well,
spending it on, but we're gonna keep it we both know what they're spending it on.
well,
Um
I mean, it's still early in the process. We're not a news place, so we're not doing breaking news. So everything is we don't want to overstate shit that's still
Yep.
unsubstantiated at the moment. So
Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, there's certain things that
oh I will.
if I don't know exactly, if I can't like find the exact place where it's for sure, I think the Mayorkas thing is pretty much 100%. That he did say that there's not any more money really for more disasters. But as far as like if FEMA money got spent for like resettlement programs, I don't know. You know, like I haven't been able to find the basis of that, but I've
That's
seen it
crazy.
all over
it's
X. So
it sounds like
what are you gonna
certain
do?
money that was allocated for this purpose was diverted. Any non-specifically allocated money, which
Yeah,
I was hearing today. So it's not like so it was like it was a technicality to be like, well, we didn't take anything out of that fund. No, they took it out before it went in the fund, is
Mm.
yeah,
essentially so it's like there's a
diverted.
lot of they play a lot of different games. It's like, spinning cups, and then they always leave it they always leave the bag hanging with somebody who, they don't mind getting fucked over. It's like the whole system right now is just like doing all of its fucking moves in all of its games right now to like keep information down, to keep people from connecting with each other and keep people from, communicating uh an active solution and a truth out of all the craziness going on. And that's the main reason
Yep.
why like you shut down information, you shut down communication, and it limits our ability to organize. And that's I mean, that's the whole point of all the fucking disinformation campaigns, which I don't preach to the choir here, but if we're arguing about stupid shit, we're not actually like talking about the real stuff.
Mhm.
So
I
Yeah.
think a good sign for like what's happening with North Carolina, for example, is that there are a lot of private people that are going out to help. And a lot of them are not putting up with the federal government blocking them from helping, which I think is pretty good too, especially if they're not doing a great job of it. I can understand not wanting like a bunch of randos in a disaster area because sometimes there's people that will fuck people over in that way, take advantage. But also, you can't, if you're not stepping up to the plate, you can't keep other people that want to step up to the plate from doing it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that why you think the government is blocking people? I'm just like, if that's like the to steel man, why the government is blocking people from, is
I
that, do you
mean,
think that's
I
why?
think
Or
that's the steel man position is that a lot of times there's people that go in under the auspices of going to help people
yeah,
during natural disasters and they take advantage of them. A
okay,
lot of land
or
grabs and things like that happen during that.
yeah,
you have incompetent people going in there, and then they're just another person that needs to be
Yeah,
saved.
another person that needs to be rescued. That's the other thing. So that's the steel man
Mm,
of it.
fair.
Um, but I mean, there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation around it for sure, like probably from all sides. So
Yeah,
it's hard to tell without being on the ground, but I've seen a lot of stuff coming out from the ground. So,
But it's pretty easy
people
just
will
to
be
tell.
shown to be liars. We'll see.
Well, a lot of it's motivation. Like, it's sometimes hard to know exactly what's true, but like, what's the motivation for someone saying, "Hey, the government isn't letting me in to do this," versus versus the opposite of, the government saying, well, none of these accounts are actually true, and it's just like you can weigh certain things by the context, and even at surface value, the context, like if we have hundreds of accounts that are saying the government's not allowing certain people to come in and help, even though they have qualifications and equipment, and then you have the government being like just a few people denying it, it's like, well, which is the larger data set?
Well, Troy, how dare you question the government, dude? Like, seriously. The government would never lie to the people. You know that, right?
Yeah.
They're
No,
here to
they want
help,
to, they want
Troy.
to, well, no,
They're
they'll
here to
lie to the
help.
people. They just don't lie to me.
Ah, oh, yeah, yeah. Ah.
Yep.
Are you saying you're not people?
No.
No, I was talking between singular and plural. I'm special.
Uh,
You guys aren't.
oh, okay, that's fair. That's
Yeah,
very
that's true.
Leo
That's
Moon. I
true.
like how much you're
That's
leaning
true.
into your astrology now. Now that you're learning it.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Fuck
yeah,
yeah.
before I didn't do it.
Confidence.
It just, ruled me anyway. So now I just lean into it, and,
Yeah.
I'm going
Fuck
around
yeah.
leading people. What can I say?
Dude, fuck yeah. No, I like the fire. You're definitely you're being more fiery. You're you're being more confident and just no fucks given. So I dig it. And more self-assured. Anyways, yes. Good job, sir. Good fucking job.
Good work.
So for this episode, I believe that the moon is in Sagittarius. Let me look when it moved.
Yes.
Is it?
The
Okay,
most
cool.
philosophical of all the signs.
Perfect.
Did
The
you
oh yeah, it totally is. The best of the signs. It is
the
it's my dominant sign.
Jim Morrison once was up on stage, and that was one of his live things. He was like, "I am a Sagittarius," and this woman in the audience, you can hear her, she's like, "Me too, me too." And he's like, "The most philosophical of all the signs," and she's like, "I am too. Oh God, oh yeah, yeah, Jim." And then he's like, "Of course, I don't believe in any of that bullshit." And she's like, "Neither do I. Neither do
Oh my
I."
God. How much Libra did she have? Holy
I
shit.
don't
Yeah.
know. She did not keep it. And then he's like, "But I do know I'm gonna get my kicks before the whole shit house goes up in flames." And then it's a iconic moment
That's
for
fucking great.
Sagittarians everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I dig it. That's great. Good for him.
I was
Oh
listening
yeah.
to a song the other
Good for
day,
Jim.
and there was a line in it, it's like, she smiles and tells me I'm the lucky one, win another
Hmm.
one. Yeah, so it goes on, and there's like one of the lines where it's like, Virgo rising, strong and kind. Is that true? Or are they lying in that song?
It can
Is
be.
is is he just saying nice things about his son, or is he actually an astrologer?
You're talking about the Kenny Loggins song, right? Because I remember this song. It's like he's like, what's he saying? I think
Well,
often Virgo rising is pretty kind. I
They
think
can be
kindness and humility is a part of Virgo.
yeah. Yeah, they can be humble and yeah, okay, but I mean, that's not the first sign I would think of as a rising sign who's kind, but you know what? Yeah,
No.
Mike's right though. There is like they can be like they can be kind, and you might not. They don't boast about it. They don't fucking like talk themselves up, but yeah, they can. They'll do stuff for you. They're earth signs. You know the different the love languages. I mean, just reduce that down to just how people relate to each other. Earth signs like to do stuff for you. So like, if like an Earth rising does something for you, that means they are trying to be kind. So I can respect it.
okay. So the lyrics is Pisces, comma, Virgo rising is a very good sign, strong and kind.
Okay,
So they're Pisces and Virgo rising. So what kind of child is this that we're talking about?
it's a
Is this
Pisces. He's saying like Pisces sun with Virgo rising probably, and that would
Yep.
make sense because even especially if it has a seventh house sun. I mean that would make a lot of sense. I mean, so yeah, that makes a good emphasis for why you should look at the whole chart because it's not just the one thing. So yeah, I mean, a seventh house Pisces sun with Virgo rising, yeah, would be very kind. They might have
so
their own issues, but they would be kind.
the other thing I want to fact check this in this song is So even though they don't have money, do they still have enough love for you, honey?
Oh,
That's what I'm
I love that
wondering.
song. That's a great song. God damn it. Something the chain of love.
Everything will bring a change
Chain
in
of
love.
love.
In the morning when I rise.
Arise,
Yeah.
bring a tear of joy to my.
Fucking
Oh,
hippies and their astrology in their songs. Just,
yeah.
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 Love it.
No. Well, this is a good segue then, because the Bible says astrology is fucking terrible, blah, 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 blah. I'm kidding.
It
But the
Let me,
does. It
Magi were
does.
also astrologers, so it's
I
very
know.
confusing.
No, no, I know.
And he said
I,
that he'd give us signs and seasons, to
yes, you know your fucking Bible.
which is interesting that but there are definitely some lines that are like, watch out for witches and astrologers. I
So
don't think that they're very into predicting the future. I think that's the main thing that they seem to be focused on.
fuck yes. You okay, you
Yeah.
nailed it. You nailed it. That's exactly the thing. And like that's why I wanted to talk about it just briefly. Is like, yeah, it does. It's not mentioned necessarily astrology is not like there's this whole modern concept that like Christians hate astrology, blah 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 blah. And like, yeah, they do because they've been conditioned to think that. But you fucking nailed it in the sense that what they don't want you to do, what the Bible says at least, which is the Christian book, is don't try to predict the future. Don't try to rely on people telling like because it was a warning against people because there was a lot of people who would take advantage. I mean, we have that today.
False
We have like
prophets, like
yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But the Bible doesn't necessarily dismiss astrology. I just wanted to emphasize that because I think a lot of people it's like the modern idea, it's very a simple idea, but like yeah, it's more about warning against just be fucking smart about it. Don't just say if someone says like, "Oh, well this is how your day is going to be tomorrow." Don't just take them at their word because like they could have other hidden motives, they could be trying to manipulate you, they could just be wrong. So there's this whole like and yeah, there's a lot of like there's not much against astrology in the Bible. It's more against like people who are like charlatans, people who are out to take advantage of you and to
Soothsayers. Yeah.
exactly like people who just and especially if you think about it like in ancient times, like people didn't know much. They didn't have access to information like we do today. So like, of course, yeah, like be on guard against people telling you, "Oh, this is how it's going to be. This is your life, blah, blah, blah. This is how it is tomorrow. This is how it is this year." Like you have to think for yourself too. You have to be able to like check that for yourself. And that's like the biggest thing. And that's where like I mean, obviously we're talking about like just fucking basic Christians. Yeah, they just go with whatever the church tells them. But like in Christianity as a whole and other religions, it's not so much astrology itself, it's the idea of don't just take what other people tell you and run with that because that can be bad. And that's a modern concept too. And in modern astrology, it's like don't just go with what the first person says to you. Like double check it. Like and so yeah, exactly. It's it's a very important concept, and I just want to bring it up. But like I also think because it's funny because everyone's like, oh, or Christians hate astrology. It's like, well, it's not astrology that they hate. It's to be careful and to double check for yourself, to learn the thing so you can then double check for yourself instead of just taking what anyone says to you at face value. Because yeah, people can say whatever they want and they have, hidden motivations or they might be trying to manipulate you or whatever, or get, money out of you or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that's you fucking nailed it though, because it's not about the thing itself, it's how it can be used negatively, which applies even nowadays, even if you're
Oh
not
yeah.
Christian, even if you're not religious. It's
Yep.
don't just fucking like go and run with what anyone says in astrology. That's one of the negatives of astrology is like people, if you have a really bad chart reading, like someone who just doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about or has hidden motivations, like, they could tell you these things. And if you're like, oh wow, yeah, okay, I'm gonna run with that, you might ingrain that in your brain and then run with that
Hmm.
and it might
For
be
sure.
wrong. And it's an important thing. That's where I think the skepticism towards astrology also comes in because people say, "Oh, well, these people exist and they do these things, so all astrology is bad." But it's like, no, it's not. It's not all that. But yeah, so
There's this kind of carryover. There's this thing called neuro-linguistic programming, I think, NLP or something
yes,
like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I feel like that is like somehow connected with if you have like bad intent and you do understand like some of the occult scientists or sciences, you can
yes,
kind of program people towards your own ends through your readings if you wanted to.
yes.
You can like set them up towards goals or like push them on a road
Well, yeah,
for your own purpose.
That's storytelling, because the way that we understand and can break complex narratives and nuances and all of the crazy shit that happens to us is through a story and through a worldview. And those are the main ways that we have to, because that's how we transfer things from low resolution to high resolution and vice versa, is through those filters. So when somebody comes up and says something to us in a context or whatever, we have this worldview, this sense of how the world works and who is in it and how it works, and they have to fit within that context, you know? And so and it's the same, it's one thing why I think stories and learning how stories work like TV is really important. One thing why I really love sci-fi is because when you start a sci-fi show, you start out at zero. When you start out with like a drama show or whatever, you're like, okay, the setting is more or less in today's society.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like when you start at sci-fi, you have no idea what galaxy, what timeline you in, what race, what is it, a magic system? You have no idea
Yeah,
what
the
fuck
rules. The rules.
the
Yeah.
rules basically start at zero. And
Yeah.
so as you open the book and they say a lightning bolt crashes across the room and Jennifer darts out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Every single word has such weight because it's implying everything about the reality and the context around it.
Yeah.
So if you understand that same way, you also understand how the media manipulates us.
Oh yeah.
Because so the thing is that and how it's so hard to get certain people out of certain media narratives because how they see the world and how they see the events that happen in them and how you orient yourself to those events and understand those events changes the way that our survival strategies work and also the way that we are going to prioritize certain threats in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So, and then
Oh yeah.
obviously some that goes into giant Jonathan Haidt's work where we're going to be a little bit predispositioned to have certain values over certain other ones, which is going to push us a little bit ideologically one way or another. And also our life experience pushes us in that way. But for a lot of people I find today, we have the same morality. It's like people who disagree with me politically, the vast majority of them, I don't see them as bad people. I just see them as wrong. You know, just like, but some of them, they say, oh, if you disagree with me, you are immoral. And that's both sides of the culture war right now, you know, that fall into that trap.
Shout out to Tim. Love you, buddy.
But,
you're not gonna watch this.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm not talking shit. I love engaging.
No, I get it.
Person.
I had to just remember which Tim you were talking about for a second.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah,
he's not gonna watch it, so it doesn't matter.
I know. It's really easy to go over somebody's head when they're that dumb, and they're not even here. So,
anyway,
but again,
we're just playing. We're playing.
Again, dumb, not evil.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, that's the thing with a lot of that stuff that's going on right now, where it's like when you act with people in real life, you got to see that common ground, you know. But and then we also get to write our own stories when we live them in our lives. So it's much easy. So it's like, okay, I've lived a 5 sensory environment with this person and we've done stuff together, you know. It's like it's much harder for someone to like on the news to try to, oh, this is what that person thinks about you, you know, when you can go have those conversations. And anyway.
No, I well said. No, I get what you're saying. And I think what you said about the sci-fi and like the idea of like, well, and the idea of like you're creating the rules for that universe. And without that, there's no like you can develop the rules and have them be whatever you want to be. And people will go with it because they know it's an alternate reality, basically. But like people don't realize like, yeah, the rules in our reality, we have no understanding. I mean, we have some understanding of them, but like a lot of them are it's the same idea where we're almost in this like movie or this show where it's like, yeah, the rules have been established for us, but is that reality? Like, are those rules it, or are there things that we're missing out on? We're being limited in some way. And I'm not talking like some like fucking abstract shit where you can just like walk off a bridge and float. I'm talking like just basic understanding of things. And yeah,
Well,
I
yeah.
think
What so much of what we've learned is from other people's experience, from textbooks, from culture, from societal understandings,
yeah,
and it's like for me it's like the most things I know to be true was not just I learned it from other people, but I have that direct experience in my life, to be
yes,
like, oh, this is why principles and values matter, and this is why treating people in this way is important, and here are certain traits about humanity that I know because I've just interacted with enough people. I've had that experience in my life, and then plus the wisdom of other people to help reference and understand that, you know but like if we're going to go talk about, let's say, other planets or quantum physics or history, really anything, like almost outside of our lifetime, and even our lifetime, it's so fucking hard to know what's happened when it's not in the same room. And I've even had shit that's happened in the same room as me, conversations that I was a part of that I totally missed, things that were going on,
how high
you
were you
know
though? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
but the point is that
Love it.
like
I love you.
it's so hard to actually know what's true, and to assume that everybody's living the same reality that you are,
Oh yeah.
and perceiving reality the same way you are, because actually we know that's not the case. We're,
Yes.
we're going to perceive reality at the level that we are at.
Yes.
It's the same thing as that. Just like if you look at a piece of painting, obviously you're only going to see it from the fucking place that you're standing at. You're not going to see
Yes.
it from anywhere else. So it's just like, and it's the same thing psychologically, where your
Yes.
worldview at, where your health, physical, mental, all that stuff.
You're emotional. Yes. Jumping back to astrology, there are at least 12 perspectives. I mean, we could break it up even more, but yes, to make your point, there are at least 12 fundamental perspectives on life. Again, that's super basic because really it's more than that because you put planets in the science and then you have even more specific perspectives. But exactly, everyone like the biggest error that people can make is to think that everyone else thinks the same as they do. And like I've known people who do that and they think, oh well, I think this way, I see the world this way, my emotions are this way. That means that I'm just going to assume that everyone else sees the world the exact same way as me, and that's such a I mean, it's arrogant, but it's also just a false way of looking at things. And like to assume that, oh, well, I see things this way, I must be correct. It's like, no, you have to constantly question how you see things and constantly try to like upgrade that. So yeah, you're 100% right. But just to bring it back to astrology, yes, like there
Well, and
are
to bring it
12
back to
fundamental. Go ahead.
well, yeah, and astrology in an astrology, Aries is the first, so they're correct. So just remember that.
Ah, fuck.
So they make the first mistake that the
I'm
rest of
another
the
one.
zodiac tries to
I'm
figure out
gonna win.
yeah,
the answer to.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Aquarius is like, oh, I gotta fix this fucking
Fix
perspective.
this
Fuck.
Aries shit, just this
Yeah.
Aries mess that they keep making. And
God damn it.
man,
Hmm. They
yeah.
burn
bad.
they burn the house down and wonder, well, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Well,
I
you know
didn't
what
do
they
shit.
say: first in, first out. Got to keep it fresh, buddy. Got to
I
keep
was
it
trying to figure
fresh.
if that out if that's what she said would work with that, and I decided against it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was like,
Well,
I'm a
if
first
she's
in, first
monogamous,
out.
that's
I don't
always
know.
the
I don't know.
case.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh, perfect. Yes.
yes, yes,
So
she
we were
is.
talking about
All
narratives,
women are
right?
perfect. All
Yes.
women are
Narratives.
valid.
So I think that like narratives are basically how we map reality, how a huge chunk of the population maps reality. I
Oh
don't think
yeah.
narratives are, I don't think everybody follows narratives. Some people do slightly different things, but most people are following narratives. You can set narratives if you have access to media. Um, and if you have enough people, if you set a false narrative strong enough, people are just going to follow it just out of consensus filters, right? Like, because enough people think that's true that if you said something against that being true, the rest of the consensus seeking people would, abuse
Yeah.
you going against that
No,
narrative, right? So people
well,
learn not to talk
that's
against
herd
official disinformation narratives.
Yeah.
it's
Um,
herd mentality for sure that feeds into
mhm.
that. And that's a huge problem why consensus doesn't actually work. As truth finding, consensus works if you're trying to find consensus.
Yes.
Consensus doesn't actually help derive truth
Yeah.
because it gets into our mammalian herd pack mentality thing where if I am ostracized from the group, if I have to, like, especially as a human, I have to be forced to go live alone, that's really hard. And psychologically speaking, as soon as we're starting to get out of acceptance, and so we're not in close relationship with other humans, we have that psychological thing where we're feeling like we're getting uh exiled from the community. So we
Yeah.
have to monitor that in ourselves and realize that that's part of our psychology, that like that's part of the thing of like when we feel more depressed, we literally feel closer to death because like we just we're assuming that I can't go survive and do all the jobs of a village by myself. So you know you have to be careful of those survival mechanisms that come in. And then depending on what I've been learning more about astrology is, okay, when you have your astrology essentially gives you a little bit of strengths and weaknesses in certain areas. So as you encounter different situations, you're going to realize what your strengths and weaknesses are more so, and then you're going
Yeah.
to leverage the ones that you have more than the ones you don't, obviously. And so it causes you to be whatever. If you're more perceptive, well, then you're going to do things that require you to be on top of it. It's like sometimes people are planners, and so they do everything. They are uh, proactive observers or they're reactive observers, but
Absolutely, dude. You're really getting this shit. I'm digging it. Like, yes, 100%. Yeah. And you can break it down however you want, but exactly like it's, earth signs are gonna perceive things differently than air signs, for example, and like or water or whatever, and they're gonna perceive it different ways. They're gonna have a different take on. So that's where everyone can look at the same, like what you were saying earlier, like everyone can look at the same situation or the same event or the same fucking movie and then perceive it differently. But the perception is all in here. It's completely personal based on your makeup and your, in our case, astrological makeup and which is your psychological, emotional, physical, like what you were saying earlier, like how healthy you are. Like if you're experiencing like pain because you have like a health problem, you might perceive something differently than someone who's like healthy and optimistic and happy and feels good about life. Like all of those things alter our perception of reality. And so many people, like the biggest problem I think in society and human beings is we externalize that instead of acknowledging it that it's inside of us and then it's so like if someone's like in pain for whatever emotional mental physical pain, they might externalize it and say, oh well, the world sucks, this thing sucks, everything's bad out here, like because it sucks to be in pain, whatever kind of pain you're talking about. And so they will externalize that instead of going, how can I deal with my pain or what can I do to like, and that's where like again the whole Sagittarius, going back to the Sagittarius mindset, is like Sagittarius wants to just look at things and like go optimistic and go like, okay, well, just because things are this way, we can look at it at a better level or like not better is the wrong word, it's very moralistic, uh a more optimistic level or a more positive level. And like, is that the right way? I mean, it just depends. I think there is not necessarily a right way, but if, say, you're a miserable person internally, the world is gonna fucking suck. Like, so, what do we have what do we like? What can we control, basically? And it's like, if you work on the things that make you feel miserable, you might see the world as being slightly less miserable, and then that could progress. So that's just something that everyone could think about is like, yeah, like we have responsibility to, if like, I mean, if we want like a perfect world, it means that everyone takes ownership of their own bullshit, their own emotions, their own psychology, their own anger, their own internal shit, their own traumas from the past, all that stuff. And then if everyone just worked on those just a little bit, the world would be a better place. Again, very
For sure.
idealistic, but it is true. I mean,
It wouldn't be
like,
like utopian better because
no, no,
nobody
no.
is gonna. If everybody did work a little bit on themselves, it would
Yeah, yeah.
be markedly better.
It would be. It would be.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a little bit. I mean, yeah. But
The the you're making
You
me think
there?
of something there. Oh, go ahead, Troy. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, but also just the word utopia actually means nowhere, because the whole
True.
where the first idea
I
came
didn't know
from,
that.
it was kind of saying that like, oh well, this is a place that can't exist, and the whole idea of describing a utopia was explaining why it couldn't exist.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. So it is an interesting thing that, you say, "Hey, look at this interesting concept that I'm going to go explain why it's not possible." And then everybody goes, "Yeah, let's do communism."
Somehow it goes to communism.
Uh
Oh,
no, it's
that's
just
funny.
like, yeah, no, it's
I
just
will
it's
say
like,
it seems like the Chinese are kind of out competing us right now. I mean, they're doing a little bit better than us, I would say, as
you
a
mean you mean China, who's actually trying to make a stronger nation, is doing better than America, who is actually trying to destroy itself right now? Good
yes.
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I mean, but they're ostensibly like a communist country, right? And they are
Well,
actually,
they're hybrid. I mean, I would say that like economically, and I'm no expert in this, so just, but they're closer to Nazi Germany, because Nazi Germany had a very hybridized economy. They had lots of social systems. They had rampant ability to they had rapid economic things and exports, and so they were making lots of money, but then they were also producing lots of things themselves, and they were very independent. So it was just like they had multiple things going on, and I think that would be the best way. But also at the same time, is like it's easy for them to make a lot of money when they just exploit people and steal stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like they're basically what's the thing of being like when you're basically a moral psychopath, in that sense that you have no conscience. So yeah, you'll literally do anything, and you do anything that works. Like cartels are the same way. Like a lot of cartels are making money selling legal crops just because it makes them money. All they care about is making money and power. They'll sell anything from fucking children to corn, as long as it makes them money,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So you make things not illegal, and then those things that are illegal, the things that are illegal is what you can make the most money on. Now, again, there's some fucked up shit with that. I'm not even getting into it because it talks about human trafficking. I'll go lighter. One thing I learned recently, and shout out to Duncan Trussell for this, but I'm stealing his idea. But like, did you know that hail? So like when people are like hail Satan or hail the other guy, it just means hi. It just means hi. So it's like hi Satan, like hi Hitler. Like that's all you're saying. Just hi. Like it's if you think of it in that context, like when someone's like, "Oh, hail Satan," like blah blah blah. If you think, "Oh, they're just saying hi Satan," it's like, "Oh, that just sounds really gay." Like that just sounds dumb. It takes away all the power because like people are just like, "Hail someone." It's like, yeah, hi someone. So I think that's hilarious. You brought up the Nazi. Oh, he didn't like the Nazi talk.
Let's just say hail to Mike. Hail Mike.
Hail Mike. Hi
Leader
Mike.
of our group.
Yeah.
Hail.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like if you think about it, like it sounds so much more like dramatic if you say it in German, but like it just means hi, like hello. Like it's just fucking hilarious that people are like, Hail Satan, like, oh my God, Satan, oh, hail Satan. Because I think people in their minds they have this idea that it means like I worship you, but it just means hi, hello. So hail Satan just means hi Satan. Good to see you. Like you're a fucking douchebag, like whatever. Hail Hitler, you're a douchebag. Hi Hitler, you're a total homo. What happened?
my phone just overheated, and
That
just shut
that
off.
that'll happen.
Well, that was a
So we
spicy
will see if it.
conversation.
Hopefully it doesn't happen anymore. I'll turn on the AC in here.
You're all good.
And I'll unplug it. I was like, I don't know when this is going to actually allow me to come back. So I'm glad that it happened pretty quick rather than.
Yeah, nice.
All right. Turn on the AC so that it blows some cold air down.
Nice.
What were we talking about? Were we talking about the Chinese, the Chi-coms?
Yeah, let's go with that.
About.
Yeah, we were. That's it. That's what we were talking about.
Like Alex
People
Jones always talking about the Chi-coms.
Yeah, the Chi-coms. The Chi-coms.
I think what's interesting is how much the U.S. shot itself in the foot by exporting basically our entire manufacturing base.
Oh, Jesus.
To like an ideological opponent, so to speak, right? If we've been against communism since it really came out, and we basically exported our entire economic base to our main communist competitor, and we're getting the shit kicked out of us right now because of it.
Well, it's the same ideology that no, it's the same ideology that allowed immigrants to start taking over our farm working labor and our other labor too. You know, it's the thing of it's elitism. It's, oh, we're too good for that shit. And whatever the fuck it's based on, it's whether it, what do they use to justify it? Some people use it as money or skin tone or culture or religion or whatever the fuck you want to use it. It's the same psychological issue that you say, oh, this is the thing that I have pride in, going back to the Bible. It's like, if you have pride in something, you're going to fight and claw for it because you need that sense of identity for yourself. And that's a huge thing why, it's like, obviously there's nothing wrong with the LGBTQ community, but it's just like when you're using your identity and your pride and what other people say about you, those are things you don't have control over. So if the way that you feel about yourself is reliant on other people, well, you're always going to feel shitty. And that's all what fucking spiritual traditions have been around about forever, which kind of comes back, it's like if, you need to be able to trust yourself, which is the whole thing that comes to Protestant, part of Christianity, which is, no, I don't need a church. I don't need a feudal lord to go tell me what the fucking, to dictate my relationship with my source, with my creator. No, that's not how the fuck it works. It's like, I got to walk my own path. And part of that is that, I'm going to you have to figure some stuff out for yourself, and you have to go through that journey yourself, because it's like we're all here to do our own karmic path, not just sitting here to walk the exact same fucking karmic path that everybody else is supposed to walk. And that's and that's just a way that you use to control people and limit people's options and make them feel it's an artificial satisfaction, because you're reducing their ability to choose and make options for themselves.
Yeah.
And essentially criminalizing creativity.
Oh yeah, no, I dig it. And my favorite part of the Bible, and just because we're talking about Christianity, the only quote of the Bible, or like I forget, I can't name the quote because I wasn't raised Christian, but it's the concept that God, quote unquote, only judges what's in your heart and in your mind, and doesn't, like, you could act good, but if you're a fucking piece of shit inside, that's what matters. And that's like the modern interpretation. Is like God judges what's in your heart, not how you act, the bullshit you say, the whatever front you put on. Doesn't fucking matter. Like, that's all bullshit. And like, so to take out the religion side of it, it's just like, yeah, if you're gonna be a fucking liar and piece of shit and put on a false front and fake yourself, then yeah, like, that's bullshit. But like, and the whole point is, if you fuck up, what matters is, what is your mentality around that? If you do something bad, what is your mentality around that? Or do you like, oh fuck, I did this thing, but maybe I was wrong to do that? That's all that fucking matters. It's just like, are you questioning yourself? Are you analyzing yourself? Are you aware of your motivations and what you want and like all that stuff? So that's what is fucking important. It's not about like, if I act like a good person, but inside I'm a fucking piece of shit and I'm talking shit to someone all the time, then like, yeah, you're gonna still have problems. But if you question yourself, you're aware of like your motivations, and you can fuck up all day long, but if you try to fix it, it's not about making mistakes. It's not about because everyone makes mistakes. No one's perfect. That's the whole point. But like if you
Except
at
Jesus.
least, I mean, whatever. But yeah, I mean, sure.
I'm pretty sure that's a key part.
Yeah.
No, he got killed because he was perfect. Let's just be honest.
I mean, he wasn't though. That was, I mean, that's a
The
misconception, I
long
think.
flowing locks of hair and like a whole bunch of like he had basically had like a whole bunch of
He,
dudes. He was like
Proto hippie, man. He was the proto hippie.
he was a Frodo
he
hippie.
was.
He was like
He was a.
he was trying to, defeat Sauron. So
He was. Yeah.
He was an OG, man.
Yeah, but I mean, sure, he made mistakes too. I mean, I never, you guys were joking that he's perfect, but the whole idea is that as human beings, we're allowed to make mistakes. It's how we handle those mistakes. I think that's like the modern way of like looking at it. It's like if you like say I tell you, "Fuck you, Troy, you're a piece of shit," but inside I'm like, was that too much? Like, was that maybe I hurt his feelings? Maybe I that was like unnecessary. Like, why did I say that
yeah,
stuff? That's all that matters. It's that internal like questioning and like was that necessary? Did I go too far? That's what fucking matters. If you're a
I get
sociopath,
it.
you're not gonna have any of that. You're just gonna be like, "Fuck you, Troy. You're a piece of shit. Done."
So I
And
can
not
be
have
mean to people. I can be mean to people all I want, and it doesn't matter what they think of me as long as I'm nice in my heart to them.
not nice in your heart as long as you're fucking with me. You're
I'm flipping it around.
nice try. Nice
I found a
try.
loophole. I
Oh,
found a loophole. I can be a dick. I just don't have to feel bad about it. And I can get away with it, right?
Best loophole ever.
yeah. I mean,
Uh,
you have to believe in that stuff to actually have it
loopholes are
matter.
better than
Yeah, that's
poop
true.
holes.
Depends.
Loopholes
You
are
know?
not better than poop holes. I don't know
Yeah, it
where you're
really
coming.
depends on what
Yeah,
you're looking
yeah,
for, I guess.
yeah. Come on now. Never mind.
Well,
Cut.
but if it's not for loopholes, how do you get the poop holes?
Mm,
You got to think about these things.
it's not immoral.
You gotta think about these things.
You
You
have
do.
to. Everyone out there, think about it.
Think about it. Loopholes and poop holes, guys. Loopholes and poop holes.
I think we have a name for the episode.
That is so good. Oh my God, I'm writing that down. Holy shit. Loopholes and poop holes. I'm not even kidding. Hopefully YouTube's okay
It's on
with
the
that.
books now. It's on the
Yep.
books.
It is. Loopholes and poop holes. Do I need to censor poop hole or is poop hole? Poop holes,
Seems
that's like
fine. I don't know.
yeah, okay, cool.
Poop.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's like 5-year-old language.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, YouTube is designed for 5-year-olds, so fuck it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wants us to have the intellectual capacity of a 5-year-old, or brand us all as conspiracy theorists.
Yes.
Both.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, some conspiracy theories are basically like normie now, like
They are.
I mean,
It is funny how all the stuff that was like really out there conspiracy theories like 20 years ago, and like almost all of them have been proven true now. Like 80% of them.
Yes.
That like, it's just, yeah, it's yeah.
I got my first video removed from TikTok for wrong think. I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, what was it about? Dude, tell.
It was called the song. It was a song. It was called Conspiracy Facts, and it was about a dude sitting down with like. It was like, why every time I sit down with my Aquarius friend,
Yes.
it always ends in a lecture, and it like talks about all the things that he's telling him about.
I listened to that one. That was
like,
good.
The Rothschilds and 9/11 and like there's a bunch of things inside of it, but
it was really good.
It doesn't make any sense that they blocked it because it wasn't like I was saying all these things were true. I'm just saying that was the conversation I was having with my Aquarius conspiracy theory friend.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense to boot it. So there must be like a tag for Rothschilds. That's my guess. That's the thing.
Oh yeah.
So probably you should edit that part out.
But it was a good song. Fucking you. Yeah. Do you write the lyrics?
Yeah.
That was a good one. I mean, a lot of them are good, but that's like I know you use AI singing, but the lyrics are what make the fucking songs, and a lot of them are fucking on point. So, like, genuinely, like that one was fucking great though. Like, I was like, yeah, like I don't know if you're trying to make fun of Aquarius, but I was just like, yeah, this is
I sent
correct. This
I
is
sent it
correct.
to an old Aquarius friend from Portland, and he was like, at first I was like kind of annoyed by it, and then I like listened to it and I realized that it wasn't really making fun of me, you know. And he was like,
Yes,
so he
yes.
had that first initial reaction to it, and then was
Oh
like,
yeah.
but then I realized that yeah, I kind of did do that to you when you used to live in Portland, you know. I was like, well, yeah, of course you did.
But and you were also correct about most of the stuff you said.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we both win
Yeah.
some.
Yeah. No, it was a good one. I heard that one. You posted it in ASO and I heard that one. It was good.
Yeah.
Shout out to ASO. Everyone go join ASO on Facebook. All right, anyways, back to it. But
Back
yeah,
to it.
back to
So
it.
it's a set. I think what's kind of interesting is like the duality between Sagittarius and Gemini, since it's the Sagittarius moon right now.
Fuck yeah.
Um, the difference between kind of the information and the connected bigger picture truth, you know? Like you can think of Gemini as picking up all the little data points, and then Sagittarius is kind of creating some kind of connection or some kind of wisdom or higher tiered knowledge or understanding from those little bits of data. Um, the difference between the information and I guess the truth, you know? And I think that the whole interaction of Sagittarius with the truth is an interesting thing to kind of get into and talk about.
Oh yeah. No, I dig it. I you're 100% right. And like I think you need, I mean, this is obvious, but you need one with the other because like, yeah, Sagittarius can get into just fucking crazy fucking ideas that are just like, and you're like, well, that just doesn't make sense in reality. There's no rational fucking anything behind that, which is Gemini's side of it. And so it's like you collect the information, and it's based on just, yeah, like, okay, this is like Gemini is like the idea of the twins and like it's splitting, it's like weighing both sides, not like in a Libra sense, not like in like a how Libra weighs both sides fully. It's more just like information comes in, you go like your rational mind does that. It thinks, okay, well, this or this, this or this, this or this. Okay, this is this. Okay, then we're gonna throw it out. This is this. Okay, we're gonna keep it. This is this. We're gonna throw it out. And like not like for anything other than input, taking things in. Like that's where the negatives of Gemini gets the idea that like they'll like a Gemini Mercury, for example, will just talk your fucking ear off and just talk. But it's like that's a necessary part. Whereas like, a Sag will like, okay, what is important about that information, and let's like take all this information and like mold it into something, and then you have the quote unquote capital T truth. But yeah, it's like with one without the other is fucking destruct like just dumb because yeah, like I mean Sagittarius, that's where it gets to hit the idea of being like just the fucking like out there hippie who's just like, yeah, man, like I've got these ideas, like yeah, it's the truth is like God is one and we're all fucking yeah, bro. It's just like, okay, well, what does that have? Like, there's no like you got to bring that down to
Not
just
helpful,
like
dude.
yeah, it's exactly. Like there's yeah, like okay, cool, but like
Thanks,
what does
guy.
that fucking mean? Yeah, exactly.
Thanks,
And
bro.
yeah, exactly. And then
Can I
Gemini's
have a
like
hit of your weed, please?
yeah.
That is all I'm really caring about. I don't really care about your philosophy right now. I'm here because this is a circle and you are
Yes.
currently camping on that joint. Please pass it.
Well, I've also just been fascinated to talk to people and just being like, wow, there's someone who actually thinks the things you think. Please tell me why you think though that way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, that's
but
fun.
how do you explain this? Like, I like just to be like, oh wow, you actually have this worldview. Like, please, like, I actually want to understand you. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's almost like you're just like it's like finally an alien specimen or something like that. You're just like looking at them and you're just like, how the fuck is this even possible?
Yeah.
And like talking to flat earthers in real life is just like wow. And it's literally which goes back to the whole like narrative thing. It's like I paint you a picture, I tell you all these things, put it in reference, explain why that's the case, and if it's a good enough story, people don't bother, they just keep like
Yes.
looking this way at it, and
Yeah.
everything lines up. But if you like try to like take a different look at it, it falls apart instantly. But people
Well, if
just
you,
get
yeah.
stuck there in it, and then it's just a nice place to be. And then they, because
Let's
then it informs them about themselves is the key thing. Because
Yeah.
also when people are like, "Don't you know the world's flat?" I know something that nobody else knows. It actually makes me a little bit more special than other people because
Yeah.
I'm aware of this. I'm a little bit smarter than everybody else because I know the world's flat.
Okay, can I just jump in? Aquarius gets that rap sometimes, but that is fucking Sagittarius because Aquarius is not like that. I mean, some are. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they have Sagittarius placements, but like Aquarius is like, yeah, weird ideas, open mind. Let's fucking like question things. But like Sagittarius is the one who like comes up with the fucking crazy ideas and just is because it's a fire sign. It just is like, nope, I'm fuck. This is oh fuck yeah, I'm right. Like whereas Aquarius questions themselves 24/7. It's an air sign. It's fucking mental. It's constantly like, okay, that's fucking idea is crazy. Let's add to it. Let's figure it out. Sagittarius is like, no, I'm just right. This is how I think. This is what's
yeah.
up. This is the
The,
truth. But
the
like I
high
think
horse aspect of
yes,
Sagittarius, is that what we're
yes,
talking about right now?
yes, exactly. And I
Uh
the two get conflated sometimes. Like the ideas, like and they do share similarities. Like don't get me wrong, but like Troy, you nailed the idea of like the Sagittarius side of things, where it's like, yes, like Aquarius gets into those ideas too, but they're more questioning them because it's arrogant. Whereas Sagittarius is like, yeah, this I just believe this because I believe it. It's like belief based on a feeling, based on intuition or just a feel. Like it's a feel. Like fire is not about the feeling nature, but in a weird way it is because it's like they just go, these ideas are what I think, like or what I feel and what is coming to me. Basically,
well, it's
I'm
belief
just
as identity,
belief.
which
Yes,
is like
yes, yes,
that's
yes,
the fire aspect of it.
yes, yes,
But like Sagittarius is the most likely to kind of become the pope and proselytizer for their own bullshit,
yes, yeah.
and they become their own basically their own prophet for their own garbage, like whatever it happens to be. And sometimes there's
Yes.
something really in it,
Oh,
and
fuck
you can
yeah. Yeah.
understand why they're doing it.
Yes.
Um, but it's like how self-serious they take themselves, like, but also there's this duality to them where they kind of recognize that they're the clown too at the same time. The higher level
Yeah.
Sagittariuses
Yeah.
realize that it's all kind of a stage play, and
Oh
they're
yeah.
just playing out this clownish role for you to hopefully trick you into expanding your understanding of the world. And that's
Well
like the
said.
good aspect of it, right? Like
Well fucking said.
the expansive Jupiterian jovial energy that they bring
Yeah.
to a situation. It's
Yeah.
like when they get too up their own butt, though, they're like the most like bigoted. Like they actually Sagittarius is really connected with bigotry, which is crazy, but it's because generally Sagittarius will have a connection to a culture that they think is, and it might not even be their own culture, but it's
Yeah.
the culture that they think is the absolute best, like that.
Hmm.
And then they become like identified with the culture, and anybody that's outside of that culture is, marginally retarded, like from the Sagittarian perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like the basis of the rep for bigotry, just like Cancer has the rep for like more nationalism or like patriot, the pugnacious like nationalism or patriotism or tribalism.
Oh yeah.
Which is it's kind of interesting. Those things are, even the negative aspects of humanity are like encoded in astrology just as much as the positive is.
Oh yeah. No, well fucking said. Yeah. No, you fucking nailed it. And like, yeah, they can be, but they can drop. I mean, they're good at if they're correct, like I mean, not like correct, but like if they have good ideas and they're pushing ideas that are, fundamentally important or needed to kind of like get people on board with something, like yeah, like they're great at that. So like there is the positive again where it's like they're probably one of the best signs at, that's why it's also I think it's associated with like the teacher because it's like when done well, you can really like you can inspire people to like be on board with what you're saying. And like that's a fucking great thing. If what you're saying and that's where again if what you're saying is at least somewhat correct or on some not just crazy bullshit. Like, and that's where you have to incorporate the other side of Gemini, where you're like, you're providing facts, you're providing the information, you're being clear about what you're saying, and not just going like, no, just believe me. It's like, no, like, why should I believe you? Oh, okay, because you're saying this, this, and this. You're backing up, like, and that's where the duality comes in. It's like you have to back up what you're saying with just rational facts, rational information, just clear and be clear in your communication. Again, a Gemini thing. So it's like, yeah, you can't just go like, believe me because I'm correct. Because it's like, well, why are you correct? Explain to me why you're correct. And if they can't do that, then people should start questioning. It doesn't mean that they're wrong, but start questioning. And like, so if like a Sagittarius dominant person should practice being able to explain where they're coming from, being able to back up where they're coming from, have clear, simple, facts, rational thoughts, ideas that go, okay, this is where I'm coming from. This is why it leads to what I'm saying. And so it explains
Show
that
your
duality.
work.
Yeah, exactly. Show your work. Exactly. Beautifully said. That sums up that axis really well. Show your work. Gemini does, takes in, thinks about things and takes in the information and like, maybe they don't come to any conclusions. They don't come to like any like big, broad fucking understanding of things, but that work is necessary to then come to the Sagittarius side of it, which is the broad conclusions about things. And so, yeah, both sides are necessary. And if you're missing one, like say someone's very Sag dominant, they might go one side and go extreme, but they can't really explain why they feel or think the way that they think versus some Gemini dominant person might just be like, "Oh, look at all this information. Here's a whole bunch of information." And then someone's like, "Well, what's the point of that information?" The
You don't
point,
necessarily need a point if you're Gemini.
no, exactly. The point
The
comes in
point
the
is getting the
opposite.
information, dork.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And yeah.
Well, that is a good lesson in and of itself because doing things in and of themselves is a really good trait to learn in and of itself.
Yes.
in and of itself.
And that is represented through that axis. Yeah.
That
And I'm
kind
not
of,
talking about masturbation when I say in and of itself.
Oh.
well, I don't know how it would be in itself, unless
Yeah. What are you putting it in? Your hand?
I'm just saying
Troy, is
in
your
or
what's the
of
sound of one
itself.
hand clapping? I don't know. I think if we knew it, we'd be enlightened. So
That's true.
good.
That's true. I mean,
Um,
unless you can put your own dick in your butt, but that's a big dick. So
yes, I was
okay.
hearing. I was thinking
It's
a lot
happening.
about air and fire
Not
because we were
me.
talking about Gemini and
Because again, I would brag
Sagittarius.
about that.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes.
Keep
Yeah.
going. I just had to
Yeah.
get that anecdote in there because
No, I know.
it wasn't fitting anywhere else.
The anecdote. The what? What were we talking about? The anecdotes. The anecdotal evidence of your dick. What's going on?
The anecdote.
The anecdotal.
Please continue.
So fire tends to be more sincere, more optimistic, more like more outer directed with a more positive mentality. Like it's like, whereas air still outer directed, but more cynical, more ironic detachment, like a lot less a lot less likely to really believe in the best of the universe. I mean, it's like a Sagittarius, or for example, an Aries is more likely to just kind of jump into the world and go try to have their way with it, whereas a Libra is more likely to hang back and like look at things, first before leaping. There's like this this kind of old what was it called? An anecdote, I guess, that says that anecdote just came up again. That's great. But it basically says that the problem with Aries is it's all action with no theory, and the problem with Libra is it's all theory with no action, right? It's like the more reflective aspect versus the more active aspect. And I think what made me think of that is like just the Gemini is the opposite of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is known as being pretty lucky. They land on their feet. They're kind of like cats, unless Saturn is in the sun. And then it kind of sucks for them that year, which is pretty bad. What?
I'm
This
just
way.
saying me and Troy. Me and Troy.
Oh,
Sorry.
but fuck, fuck.
Sorry, bro.
No, it's all good. I just lost my line for a second. I was like, "What are you pointing at, man? What are you pointing at?"
Fuck. I didn't mean to
Uh,
throw you off. I did not mean to.
oh, Gemini is not lucky. Like Gemini has to really depend on like knowing the information, right? It's like they can't just make those intuitive leaps as easily as a Sagittarius is going to. They're not as likely to land on their feet. So you kind of have to have the evidence and the data to back you. If you're going to try to push forward, like and move forward, because you're much less likely to have luck kind of work on your side. And I don't know what that is about Gemini, but it's like I've certainly noticed that gambling during Gemini moons is like one of the dumbest things that I can do. And I have that natural chart. So anytime if the moon's going through any of the fire signs, fucking great. I usually make money. I come out ahead.
Yeah.
Sometimes in Libra, I'll make money. Sometimes in the earth signs, maybe, but fire signs almost all the time. Gemini, almost never. It's
Yeah.
always like you get a big rug pull at the end. And I think that Gemini gets more rug pulls than almost any other sign, where they're just kind of left being like, what the fuck, because they get into more tricky situations. They get into more, they, they, they get into mischief more and they get caught up in it more.
Yeah.
And they usually have less honorable motivation, or at least
Okay.
positive motivation.
Okay. No, you said you fucking nailed it. Beautifully said. I apologize for interrupting you, number one. Beautifully said. Like you fucking nailed it. The second thing, you have Jupiter in a fire sign, so that might have influence.
Yep.
Third thing, yes, about Gemini, where I and that and I hate to use this word because everyone you overuse this word, but that's their karma. They're not meant to they're meant to learn things from a different perspective. They're not meant to just have that like I just have optimistic luck and I'm just gonna believe in this thing and I'm gonna go with it. They're meant to learn to analyze things. So like if
Yep.
someone has Gemini placements, that's just their karma, for lack of better terms. And like their job is to learn to analyze things. So like someone with like Gemini stuff might learn like okay, like they're the ones who like can analyze things though on a different level where it's instead of it just being like, oh, I just feel like this is a lucky day, so I'm gonna go with it, fire sign stuff,
Yeah.
they're gonna go, here's why I'm gonna invest in this stock on this day and then sell it on this
Yes.
day because of these specific numbers, because I've seen the trends on this, blah, blah, blah. It's
They
like,
have to
okay,
make their own luck and they have to do it through data. Like that is the issue.
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. No, and I'm only building on what you said. What you
Yeah.
said, you fucking nailed it. I mean that like that sums it up beautifully because it's like, yeah, they do have to make their own luck. They unfortunately can't rely on just dumb luck. That's probably not the right word, but just like, oh, I just feel like today's the right day to buy a lottery ticket. And then, oh, cool, I just won like 40 bucks. It's like, no, it's like you have to, okay, well, I'm going to analyze. Okay, well, if this many people have bought lottery tickets from this specific thing, and then I need to like, okay, so my odds are a great Gemini word. It's like analyzing things and figuring out the specifics, being very rational about it. So yeah, you fucking nailed it. And so, uh, yeah, but that's their lesson to learn. That's what they're supposed to learn. That's we need
Yeah.
that energy in the world. Like just in the same way we need the Sagittarius or fire sign energy. We need people who are just like optimistic and being like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to the casino today randomly and fucking win some money versus Gemini who's like, today's not my day. Today's not my day. The odds are not good. Okay, today's my day. This is because I've analyzed shit to death and figured out the specific ratio of how casinos do their payouts and blah 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 blah. That's and like overanalyze it and they figured it out and then they can, yeah, exactly what you said, create their own luck, but
Yep.
they can't just rely on the luck of the universe, so to speak. So yeah, no, it's fucking that's really well said because that sums it up perfectly. So Troy, how often do you buy lottery tickets?
Basically never. I think I've
Nice.
bought like total like maybe 6 or 10 in my life.
Yeah.
How do you
Well,
gamble when you gamble?
yeah, good question.
He
Asking
gambles with his heart.
The Jupiter and Leo is
I
asking.
gamble
Let's.
every day when I wake up in the morning. I
Uh,
no, no, I'm just not that. I'm not a big fan of gambling. I
yeah,
don't know. I'm
Jupiter and
just
Pisces. Yeah,
maybe I'm just too risk averse.
yeah,
But it's also just like I I like doing things I like doing, and or I generally like to do things I'm good at, and if I like doing them, I try not to compete in them in that way, because it's just like different. Like even playing soccer, it's like yeah, we're gonna compete in the soccer game, but like trying to get overly competitive and trying to like recruit for the very best players and all this kinds of stuff, it's just like it has quickly diminishing returns for me personally, you know.
yeah. I get it. Well, I mean, both Mike and I have Jupiter and fire signs, so I think
Both like gambling.
we like to we enjoy it. It's fun
Yeah.
sometimes. I've heard the the classic, generic rule is, you know, gamble when you have positive aspects to your Jupiter or when you have a Jupiter return or like say the moon's transiting your Jupiter, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I don't know how accurate that is. I've
Positive
tried it.
contacts to Jupiter really
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
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 And I've noticed that that's like the most analytical I've gotten. I'll get a
Yeah.
feeling and then I'll be like, oh, is the moon in? Well, and then I'll look and usually it'll be that.
Yeah.
Although I don't do that as often out here. It was a lot easier to do in Portland and in Washington because there was way more casinos out there.
Yeah.
Um,
The Native
Portland just
American.
had places everywhere in the bars that you could gamble, and I loved there's
Yeah.
this Flush Fever game that is like my favorite game to play on the machines ever.
Fuck yeah.
And I'd bet $1. I'd put $20 in and bet $1 for each bet. And anytime that I was like trying to buy like pizza and beer for my cruise, because it was like during my when I was running Canvas Cruise,
Yeah.
anytime that I was trying to get stuff for other people, like I would win on the machines, and anytime that I was getting greedy and trying to get something out for myself, I would lose. So I had to learn
Interesting.
like how my luck worked, I guess, a little bit in that way.
Well said. That's very well said. And with the, I don't mean to give away your chart, but the Jupiter in the fifth house Leo versus the Libra stuff you have, it's like that kind of sums it up beautifully. So yeah,
Well, yeah, but there's also that's the reason why there's like a lot of spiritual traditions say that there's essentially a morality lock on a lot of spiritual abilities, you know, that like you unlock them. j- yeah, more or less speaking, the higher your frequency are, it's also gonna more or less align with morality, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Oh yeah. And I don't think gambling is necessarily anti-moral. I mean, we're
Oh
talking
no, I
about
wasn't
some.
saying that at all. I was just
Oh, okay, okay.
but I was just saying is as far as
That's what I
like
was trying to figure out too.
no, but what karma you're putting into it is going to determine what you're getting out of it. And
Oh, so if you're
you're
coming with
talking
greed,
well,
yeah,
but let's just say you're talking random number generated. And the thing is or any kind of you're talking games of chance when you're talking gambling for the most
yeah,
part.
yeah,
Yeah, otherwise it's rigged. Or you're just stupid. Uh but games of chance is essentially what most people are betting on, you know. And
yeah,
when there's games of chance going on, well, how does all that how what makes it land that way, you know? And it's like all of the variables going into that, and the easiest way to say that is like, well, source, higher frequency, higher self, God, whatever your word for it, or whatever actually did the thing, depending on your understanding of that.
yeah,
But basically there's other things that helped orchestrate what happened in reality. And
yeah,
so the more that you're in alignment with higher frequency energy, well, then that's going to help you. But
yeah,
at the same time, is essentially, it comes down to you have positive attractor fields and negative attractor fields, essentially. A positive attractor field is something that is making you want to raise your frequency. Negative attractor fields are something that's going to make you drop your frequency, you know? And generally, it's a response of love and fear almost always corresponds with higher or lower, of where you're moving in on your journey, and feeling those things. And you'll be able to feel pretty simply, oh, is this a positive attractor field? Is this thing that's coming into my life? Is this making me better? Is this expanding me? Is this making me more loving and compassionate? Is this expanding my peripheral vision? Is it making the colors brighter? Is it making my senses and, like sharper, you know? Or is it the other way? Are you narrowing your vision? Are you starting to get scared? Are you starting to, you know, be anxious? All of those other things. And those are easy
Yeah.
ways to tell biologically which energies you're aligning with when you're thinking or pursuing different things. When your energy, your psyche, your body is aligned towards a certain idea.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand
Or
completely.
outcome. And you
Yes.
can feel that in yourself. And so
No, no, I get what you're saying. Like, that's like when you're sitting at the gambling, the slot machine,
yeah.
and you just keep putting money in over and over, and you're just like, I'm not winning, I'm not winning. Then you start to like get more negative. You're just like, but fuck this, blah, blah. Then yeah, you're not gonna win. But like if you have this mentality of like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna try one more. I don't care the outcome. Yeah, like I'm not gonna come from a place of greed or need or like I have to have this win to fucking succeed in life. It's like, no, yeah, that if you come with that mentality, then yeah, like the universe is gonna be like, no, you haven't earned this or whatever. I mean, I don't want to
Yeah.
put that on it because that sounds moralistic, but I just mean like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you come with a mentality of just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm in that optimistic. You have to stay optimistic when you're gambling because the worst thing you can do is get into like a negative mindset and just keep fucking pumping those, bills into the machine and being like, I'm gonna get the next one. I'm gonna get this.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I
that
need.
energy is
Yeah.
that's a crazy energy.
Yeah.
You still get the dopamine hit no matter if you win or lose. That's like the issue with
Yeah.
gambling.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're just chasing the dopamine all the way down.
Yeah.
And that can be
Oh
a
yeah.
rough time.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
ro the road to hell is paved in dopamine. Yeah.
it is totally. Could we do a time check really quick? I think I'm
Yeah.
close to the end of
Oh no. I just got the mood. I'm keeping a never keep a Taurus waiting on food. So
okay.
yeah.
Moo.
I
All
got the
right,
moo.
so that's the end of it. It was a pleasure
Yeah.
seeing you all tonight.
It was fucking great. This was a great one, boys. I
Yeah,
appreciate
it
it.
felt good. It felt
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
vibes. Good vibes.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad that we just averted the next hurricane. Great job, boys.
Yes.
With
We
us
did?
and our manifestation powers, we are more powerful than the government's weather control devices. Great job,
Yeah.
Nice.
boys.
Yeah.
And by
All
the
right.
time this comes out, it's probably going to have already hit, and this will be a very tasteless joke.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but maybe there'll be another hurricane that hits like wait, that doesn't help at all. Never mind. It's probably just gonna end up going over like a lead balloon because I'm pretty sure that Florida is gonna get hit pretty bad this week. I mean, it seems pretty likely. I don't know.
Well, hopes and prayers to Florida.
Hopes and prayers to Florida.
Well, I'm glad
See
we could
that
have a nice crash
cynicism in the
landing.
air signs? Do you see it? Did you see it? Did you feel it right there?
Yeah.
He's like hopes and prayers to our little fellas down there. Get out of the way if it's coming for you.
Well, but like, let's just be honest. Is like
You are correct.
It's like what is a hurricane? It's wind and water. So I think we know which signs we have to blame for that. So
Oh yeah.
What is that? Is that air and water signs?
Yep.
yeah,
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
yeah.
Oh, that's all of us. Oh no, you're a fire. What am I saying? God damn it, I'm retarded.
I'm like
Yeah.
mostly fire.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I was thinking
We blame them for volcanoes and
Yes.
yep. And for wildfires. We also
Yes.
we don't like that.
No.
I just have
That's
enough
the
water in
fire
my
sign
chart to
problems.
learn how to cry.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
You learn
And
how
with
to
that, yeah.
cry? With that, it's time to feed your Taurus.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah,
I love you all.
yeah. Feed
Peace,
him
brothers.
some fish or some goats or something like
Some
that.
grass, some hay.
Yeah, it's the grass.
Oh, I've totally seen a cow just like eat a bird.
Oh,
Just like
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they'll
That's-
eat anything that fits in their mouth, dude.
Hey, I'm gonna repeat that line. That was good. That was so
Dude,
good.
but seriously, look it up when you're sitting
Uh,
there and you're waiting for your food to show up. Just go cow eats bird and look it up on your phone, dude.
okay, I will. Oh, cheers, brother.